We begin this morning with a Fox News alert, and it's a big one. Just moments ago, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer resigning after mounting pressure from the Labour Party and the public.
My party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Monday morning. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer filling in for Carly Shimkus.
And I'm Todd Pyro. Let's bring in Fox News senior correspondent Benjamin Hall to react, give us the latest information. And Benjamin, look, we've been talking about Starmer resigning for months now. Then it seemed to go away, at least here in the States, for a couple of months. What happened in the last week that led Keir Starmer to officially resign?
Yes, I mean, look, everyone knew it was coming at some point. The question was when. And what happened in the last week specifically is this other Labour candidate called Andy Burnham, who is the mayor of Manchester, finally won a seat in Parliament. He was effectively someone stood down to allow him to do that, and he is widely considered to be the next contender. But you're right, you look back over the last few months and you have had countless U-turns by Keir Starmer. You've had local elections in which the Labour Party were decimated by a lot of other parties, by reform in particular. And of course you had Peter Mandelson, who was the man that Keir Starmer picked to become ambassador to America. And it turned out he had close relationships with Jeffrey Epstein, hadn't disclosed them, and Keir Starmer knew that when he put him in place. So all of these different things had been building, but it was the appointment of Andy Burnham, who is widely expected to be the next Labour leader and then the next Prime Minister in the last week, that really made the move. But look, the next Prime Minister will be the 7th Prime Minister in 10 years here in the UK. It has been a decade of constant overhaul, and the party, the country, just can't seem to decide which way it wants to go.
No, Ben, that was my question. I mean, this kickstarts, this process for the country to see, as you said, the 7th leader in a decade. That's a lot of turnover. That is an ever-revolving door. What does that mean historically for the country, and really, what does it mean, for the time being right now?
Well, yes, if you went back 20 years, much like the US, every prime minister was in place for 5 years and there was another election, and it was like that for decades and decades. Well, that has changed dramatically. What we expect to see now, and Keir Starmer said it in his resignation speech, is that a new contest will begin on July the 9th, and he will stay prime minister till then. Now, the Labour Party will pick the next Prime Minister because they're the party that was voted in. And there are a couple of other candidates who might run for it as well. There's West Streeting is the main one at the moment. But Andy Burnham has been talking to West Streeting, and it appears as if they might be doing a deal with Andy Burnham telling this other man, if you stand down, I'll give you one of the plum roles in my government. Now, that means that it would be considered an appointment, that the party won't have voted for the next Prime Minister, and that upsets many people. So either you have these candidates running against each other, which frankly hurts the party because they all criticise each other for 2 months, or else you pick one person in this case, and many people criticise that as being a coronation. So either way, there's going to be criticism of just moving on to a new leader without the country itself having elected him.
Ben, a face familiar to the Fox audience, of course, is Nigel Farage. Was this move done with an eye toward eventually staving off a Nigel Farage prime ministership?
100%. In the local elections that took place in May, the Labour Party lost across the country to Nigel Farage's Reform Party. They are right now the biggest party in the UK, and they came from nowhere the last couple of years. Now, in the by-election that took place just a week or so ago, in which Andy Burnham won, he did surprisingly well against reform. And so many people in the Labour Party are saying, well, wow, this might be the one person who can push back against Nigel Farage and his party. And that that is why they have pushed against Keir Starmer. That's why they forced him to resign, because they think that this guy, Andy Burnham, might be the one person who can fight back against Nigel Farage. But still, you look at the figures right now, and the Reform Party, Nigel Farage, has a clear, if there was a general election, has a clear path to victory. So there are 2 more years till there has to, 3 more years almost, till there has to be a general election in the UK. So whoever comes in next could just keep waiting, and stay in power that long. But that comes down to who wins this by-election, how they choose the next leader. Will they force that general election to be sooner? The sooner it is, the more chance Nigel Farage has of becoming the next or the second future Prime Minister.
Ben, do you foresee this changing the framework in how the rest of the world operates with this, or do you think this is just going to stick with the country?
Well, look, you look around other countries in Europe and they've seen quite a lot of flipping as well, of prime ministers as well. There seems to be a change right now, particularly I would say with middle-level countries who don't quite know where they stand. I will say when we look at the world, you have to see how Keir Starmer, his relationship with President Trump, because frankly the most important thing that the UK does at the moment is shore up its special relationship with America. Now, Keir Starmer began with a really quite strong relationship with President Trump. They are on different sides of the political spectrum. You know, Keir Starmer, the Labour Party, had left. President Trump is a Republican. So they are on either side. But after the beginning, and Keir Starmer came to the White House, the Oval Office, he gave President Trump a formal invitation to the second state visit. It was the first time a president had been given that. The relationship was close. They seemed really close friends. And then that started to fall apart. And you know, it really led up to the Iran conflict, where Keir Starmer refused to help, would not allow any air bases to be used at first, was not giving UK military support to the US. And that is when it really broke. And President Trump really started talking quite strongly against Keir Starmer. And what was remarkable was that just yesterday, President Trump put out on Truth Social, Keir Starmer is going to resign, before anyone else knew. So whether or not Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, had let President Trump know in advance and President Trump leaked that, it was a remarkable thing for President Trump to be the first world leader to say Keir Starmer is about to resign. But the big question is, what will the next Prime Minister, what relationship will he have with President Trump? And if it's Andy Burnham, well, he is going to move further to the left over here. The Labour Party like him because he's going to be far more liberal. And in fact, the bond markets, by the way, are jumping when he was voted into the by-election. So it's tough to see how he's going to have a closer relationship with President Trump than Keir Starmer did. And that isn't going to be great for the UK, because it's our relationship with the US that gives the UK so much strength, so much support.
And we're going to get more into the U.S.-UK relationship now that Keir Starmer has resigned, with Steve Yates coming up in a few minutes. Benjamin Hall, great insight, great reporting. We appreciate your time this morning on this historic morning.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.